But yeah, Adam Nolan, of course. Do you want to introduce your multi-skilled life?
How is that? Not that talented. Why you have me here?
For the chats. And Evelyn, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm just here to help interview with Shane, but I'm just Evelyn. That's my street name, but no, yeah. I'm just here to help interview. I write and I draw as well, but this is the main guest.
Yeah.
Adam is the main star of the
Big man.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you in, man.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Oh, good. I suppose when... I don't know where to start, I suppose, maybe with your involvement in FAC, I guess, or did anything kind of come before that project-wise for you?
Yeah, I finished college when I was maybe 20, just turned 20, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So
Everyone?
Like every single person
pretty
in the
much
entire
like everyone.
world.
So I just started working away, and then I started doing a lot of photo shoots. So I was assisting on a lot of photo shoots, got a lot of stuff published in Tatler, Image, stuff like that.
Oh, insane.
And then from that I got an internship with Tread, which is a biannual fashion print in Dublin.
Yeah.
From that I just learned how to pretty much do the logistics and make a magazine. So I was like, I want to make a magazine. This is good. So then I just started a long slog of designing a magazine with my mates pretty much, and then that came about then maybe 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I done that for a year and a half then, and then I kind of stepped back from that and just focused on writing myself, because I was a bit I just wanted to get back to writing a bit more creatively than just doing journalism stuff, because I felt it kind of the narrative gets a bit limited or something. You're always trying to swing a story out of other people's work, and it kind of makes it a bit
Mundane.
yeah, and not even mundane. It's it's just a bit more. It's just harder to swing. Yourself that when you're doing a print up, you're trying to get everything in and follow a seamless narrative, and it's so difficult sometimes, and you kind of lose yourself in the print then or the website, and you're it kind of gets in your head a bit. So I kind of wanted to just step back down and just
focus on the writing. Almost.
Yeah.
Because I guess you're in a constant state of curating the actual brand of
exactly.
and
what's
you're
my content?
about
Where's my content? How do I keep up with this content? Which content is hitting the audience?
how is it presented?
Exactly.
And you're not actually really focusing.
It's kind of
on
focused content rather than actual quality of content. Nearly.
A lot of the time, especially when you're dealing with website stuff, because you get so much content, and you go into Instagram and it's just constant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so difficult to get someone to just stop on your one thing and be like, whoa, that's interesting.
So
Let's
you
go
get
on to this
interested
page.
in
Go on to this.
clickbait kind of and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. People struggle nowadays to read Instagram captions, never mind the whole article on the website. So it makes it very difficult where you're just trying to get so much stuff out to see what people want to read and look at more than what you kind of want to do.
So you're unnecessarily changing your voice, basically.
Yeah, kind of in a way, you're trying to fit things into your voice, and then it kind of it gets to a point where you're where's your credibility? And I'm not saying things lost credibility. I just kind of felt I lost myself in it a little bit, in a way. That's how I kind of felt in the end.
Yeah.
Fair.
Because I mentioned this to the Subset lads as well. It's there's a weird thing happening, I feel, as well, with say Instagram or any social media platform changes the algorithm, and it can make you doubt even the work as well. So if this post doesn't get as many likes as this one,
that's what I mean.
And it might just be totally arbitrary. You know what I mean? But
it just might not just pop up in feeds where that, and then people are was that a good thing we done?
Yeah, it's hard to know. Then you're kind of
whoa, I put up a picture of some random thing.
Literally, it becomes a commodity rather than your actual.
Exactly.
I would be so proud of something I drew, and then if it doesn't get enough attention, I'm just I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
but then you're
and then
a bit, and then you're fuck's sake, but you're no, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So it's just I don't know. It's hard. It's one of those oxymorons. It's really good for your business and your creative output, but at the same point, it makes you doubt it. That's what I kind of feel about social media.
Yeah,
it's just it gets lost on a lot of things. It doesn't appreciate work that you put into stuff. We could do a 6-week research project on homelessness in Dublin, and it hits a reach of 1,000 people, or you put up a picture of a pair of shoes and you tag Nike in it, and then that gets it reaches 5,000. But is that more valuable than this huge piece that we've just done? No, it's just very difficult to hit a mark without just throwing loads of hashtags and stuff in, or hockey in people's feeds.
Exactly, or just appealing to the like lowest common denominator.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's why you kind of like, it's just like
literally, because like I remember like when I started out, like I used to draw celebrities and stuff, and like because they would tag them and they would like it and they would like share on story, and I'd be like, oh fucking this person like shared this, like, oh, it's really good, and then people would be like, oh, like you're like, that was really good, like that was such a good drawing, but I was like, that one is as like, I would be objectively like, oh, I love this one that I did, but like they would be like, that one's better because that one was shared and stuff. So like it's exactly like that. Yeah, but you're like, what's the meaning?
what's the point? Like, I mean, like,
yeah, fair.
it's like the cosign is like way more prevalent. You know what I mean? Like it's always in your face now, sort of thing, with Instagram, like in particular.
Yeah, it's just very hard to get off of. Like, it's just like a constant feed of what people are doing, and people are valuing this rather than seeing something. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
because as well, I always struggle with, like, I'd love to, I think, like, remove myself to some degree from it, but it's like when you need it to kind of stay in touch. I don't know if you come across the same stuff with maybe the topics you're dealing with, but like, it's like I feel like if I'm not following everyone on Twitter, it's like I'm not going to hear about a new song. Or,
yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's almost like
it's the way people share their stuff as well. Yeah, it's exactly like, but it's such a good platform to share things as well, because you can, everyone sees it, and like you're well able to like explore loads of people's work. But then there's so much of it that it's just, there's too much.
But that kind of also got me then interested in like the actual data. I wanted to know about data and how data works. Then I started looking up and stuff, and
terrifying.
It's mental. Like, it's like people are just signing away their information for free.
Literally,
you know
apps are made now. So an example that was given once was like a fitness app. Forget the name of it, but they would basically give you like the power to like track your run and stuff. But they're not at all, they don't care that they're selling they're selling your data on, so they know so much about you. Then they know how much you run, they know the distances, you've given them your location, they know exactly the route you take home, the routes you go running in, your weight, like all these things that you're like, oh, this is helping with like my body and stuff, like I'm knowing like my personal best, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then like they literally are selling that data on, so they can then target you with ads on different websites. So they can target you like on Instagram with like, oh, this person's into fitness, so then they'll buy these shoes and stuff like that. It's like
Google. Like Google, before Google started collecting data, they were just like an unsuccessful search engine. But then they realized they're sitting on a gold mine of information, and they started like personalizing information. So say like here's like an example. Say like people are into like fashion nowadays. So like, I don't know, Dior are big. So like, all right, 18 to 30-year-olds like these kind of things, so let's collect all the stuff that they're searching, what they're liking, all this, put it into one thing. Lots of people are liking Stuzzy stuff, lots of people are liking Daniel Arsham stuff in this demographic, and they're also liking ambush stuff. So let's get all the people who are involved in these things and put them through this brand. And that's what kind of Dior done. Like, they bought this kind of information off these search engines to gear their collections around it, because
I think that loses the creativity in their just making up their own little designs.
No, but it also like it gives people opportunity, which is great. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're saying, like Instagram helps people. It gives them the opportunity to push their work out. But at the same point, it's like it's curated. Do you know what I mean? And you don't realize that you're like, whoa, like Dior just done a thing with Stuzzy or Cause. Exactly. Oh, they're my favorite artist. How did they know like this? It's because you signed away your data. They know exactly what you like. Like, this is why they put millions into this project.
For sure. It's like I think again on the subset thing, it's like Facebook isn't the product, you're the product. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're the most valuable thing that you could do. Like, and this is where I'm starting to think like I'm looking at it like in a political way. Like, this is like, the internet is like a brand new society. Do you know what I mean? It's like a brand new society, and like you're giving away things for free, and like where you could easily just like say like your data, all right, I'm gonna sell our data to our government, and our government then release the data to these companies, and they get taxes back off it. And then you could just give this money to us. Like, you're already giving it away for free. Why shouldn't we get like maybe 1 cent, 2 cents or something, then add that all together for what they're making of it? That's like maybe €200 a week for people. Like,
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? You can actually do this kind of things. Like, these are like social policies you could introduce. Like, there's this thing called like universal basic income, where they want to like give everybody in the world, like in a country, money just for nothing, just to like eliminate the doubt. It's like social welfare for everyone. And imagine they like took this money, right, from like these big tech companies that are in Ireland and just gave it back or build houses with it instead of like trying to tax people on their income. Like, why don't you tax these people who are making fortunes, like billions on billions, and just take a small bit of it and just put it through social housing or to help with climate change, something like that is beneficial for people, because you're just giving this stuff away for free and they're just abusing you at the minute. It's a bit weird, actually. Like, it really is scary.
It is scary,
and not many people are aware of this.
I definitely have this wrong, but there's some country like Venezuela or something like that that's like obviously rich in like a lot of natural resources, and so like gasoline and like diesel and stuff is like essentially free because it's like it's seen as a public resource. It's almost a bit like that. It's like in a weird way, it's weird that private companies own public resources if it's on like public land, but you know, I guess just the way things developed and everything. But it's like weird when you actually think about it. It's like,
it's bad.
Why do you own that necessarily? I guess because they mined it or whatever, but.
Yeah, but you're just like giving it away. Like,
I mean?
They just found it. They just found the source, and then
like
they
a
just
gold mine of information. They just like found a way to commercialize it.
Google became like literally I've read articles on it, like, because I kind of like specialize in advertising, and they're an advertising company now. Like, that's what they are. They've specialized in like that's their whole, like, that's their product is like
people are a bit freaked out now where they like Google ski goggles because they're interested in skiing, and then they see you can buy these goggles in the corner of their screen, and you're like,
I'm getting a really weird thing where like I would say someone's name now and they would be my first Instagram story. I don't know if that's happened to you, but like these are people that I don't know, but like someone would talk about them like, oh, how do you know them? And then they would be my first story, and now I'm just like, oh, now it's all voice recognition. That's the new thing where like whatever we talk about now, like,
I mean, I'm screwed because I'm like Google Home in the bedroom. I'm deep in. I'm like, I'm done. I'm like everything I've ever said is like straight to Google headquarters. Like, damn.
I wonder like how many like Alexa Play Roddy Rich has helped him get like festival headliners this summer.
Yeah, huge.
Like just selling that data that he is a big artist.
I'd love to see like how much they use like data like that in like record labels now and stuff like that, or like booking agents and stuff.
Like, it's definitely happening.
Yeah,
it would make sense, to be fair. Like, even just looking at streams on Spotify, like that's just the simplest way of like, that's like a little bit like, but like going deeper into like search engines and seeing how many people have searched a name who are in that demographic who live in Ireland
geographically and stuff like that,
and all stuff like that would be kind of creepy.
It's super weird.
So you hate the internet and you decided to do a book.
Essentially.
But I guess did that so I suppose the book, did that come about? Obviously you were just talking about, was that kind of freeing in terms of the writing process? Is that a reason you decided to do more of a narrative as opposed to
like just like journalism? Like I thought like a fictional narrative, and then you try to create stories where you didn't have to actually focus on individuals and you weren't affecting people, like it's like straight up you weren't affecting people. Then I thought that would have been better, because obviously like newspapers and stuff are writing stories about homeless people all the time and trying to give a story that swings whatever narrative the paper is trying to sell at that minute. Like, so I was like, a short story and look at as many different demographics in a small city like Dublin, how that would like be beneficial. Like, how many people are actually affected by the homeless crisis, and how many people are also using the hotels to their advantage? Because there is definitely people that are using it to their advantage, like,
and student accommodation, particularly as well.
That's
stuff
like insane.
So like, I just wanted to kind of look at that in a way, like there's like the negatives, the positives of it, and like at the end I tried to give solution, because like there's not way to just comment on something if you don't offer a solution, then you're just being negative about something. Like, what's the point in being negative? I mean, it doesn't get anyone anywhere.
Was it how was the process in terms of like turning that around? We were like talking about it on the walk up, where it was like a lot of people watching and stuff. Or like
so just stressful. Like I used to I spent like a year and a half like in my room, and then I'd go out and like a lot of time in my own head, and then I'd just talk to people in the street, like a lot of homeless people, ask them what their buzz is, like what's happening. We'd just sit there for a while, just having like a rollie or two.
They probably would really appreciate that though, because they're so
I don't really care. Like, they're just normal people. And you meet some like real like mad stories, like some people who are like actual like proper professionals, like they're like in 2008 they're on 70 grand a year job, and then had this lovely house, and then the house was next week was in negative equity, and they were worth like nothing. Like they had no money. They bought this house for 600 grand 2 years ago. Now it's worth 250, and their have nowhere to live now after being repossessed. So they have no, like, they can't afford
Do
rent or
anything,
anything. They had this family, and then, like, they lost their family, and he's just gone, like, this was, like, one person in particular, he had no self-belief anymore. He's just like, what's the point of me trying anymore? I went to college for 4 years, I worked my way up in this company, got on a nice wage, thought I was doing well. 1 week later, I had no house. 6 months later, my family started to break up. My wife left me, she moved back in with her parents, and now I'm just, like, rolling, like, wandering the streets, like, and I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean?
How
Like,
do you answer that question?
I don't know. Like, I just didn't know. Like, and then, like, what do I give him money? That's not going to solve his problem. Like, he's
exactly.
That's the problem he's already had, is money. I'm not throwing more money into this solution. So then I'm like,
true.
Yeah, what do you do here? Like, it's not like these people are like all junkies or like or just scamming the system. Like, there's just people out there who are actually just like, it's got a real short end of a stick for nothing, for actually just trying to better themselves, which is really sad in a way, but also, like, it just pointed out a lot of flaws in society.
It's like underused, like, you know, talent and everything as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that could be another contributing member to society and everything, you know, but you're just not giving them that leg up. Like,
yeah, pretty much. Like, it's like social housing is good, because there's two sides where people will be like, people are just going to scam off the system, which a lot of people will. If you give them a house, they're going to scam off the system. But then there's a lot of people like that who just need a backup. Do you know what I mean? Like,
they just need just a little help, and then
just
they'll
something.
absolutely
just
strive.
something. Like, but like, you're obviously going to have a lot of people who are going to use negatively. But then you also have a lot of people who made money off the fact he did lose his house. It's like, there's always going to be people who are going to benefit from a negative situation. Like, that's just people. Like, people are always going to want to be self-interested around the situation. So there's no ideal world, like, and you can have 100,000 social houses, and then people, like, 20,000 of those people aren't going to use it for their own advantage and not work. But there obviously is going to be maybe 80,000 who are going to use it to try to start a new family life.
Exactly.
Would you, like, going into, like, so say, like, if you were going to make, like, social housing, would you go into it with a very, like, positive aspect then? Like, you want to go into it.
Don't go into anything negative. That's never going to work out well.
So, like, so you would, like, what social housing, you'd want to go into it, like, you think everyone's going to strive and, like, do their best, like, obviously. It's just like, how do you do these things as well? Because then you're like, do you build all these houses in, like, what's the most economically, environmentally friendly way to build these houses that isn't going to cost a bomb? Because you did say at the end of your book, you were talking about like those big tech and pharmas aren't that bad, and like they're good for society.
Yeah, they are good. Like,
and you were talking about, like, the decentralization of, like, like for swords to be kind of like a hotspot kind of thing.
Yeah, you could make it like a hub. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, where you could get a lot of young people to live there. Like, you could live there into like a 3-bed gaff and swords for like 1,500 quid maybe. That's pretty reasonable. Like, and if you get that 24-hour bus service that they're bringing in, or you have the Swords Express, you're in town in 15 minutes. That's better than night and day.
It's true.
Definitely. And if you just got a lot of pubs out there, like, or like, you could do loads. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, other cities have done it. Like, they've made like Soho or Williamsburg or like Kreuzberg. Like, these are things that happen as cities develop, as economies develop. Like, you just get pushed out and you just have to make new areas hubs. Like, that's just like, obviously it just gets gentrified then, but like, that's just fucking you do about that. Like, that's just society. Like, do you know what I mean? People with money want to get in on something that is deemed cool or whatever.
Yeah, true.
It's transition period of every city, though. Do you think we're in it now?
Absolutely. We're like in that stage where, like, New York was in the 60s, where people started moving to the, like, east, like, Lower East Side. That's just Dublin at the minute. That's just Dublin city centre now. I
mean, it's almost mad that, like, essentially there is only like one capital city. You know what I mean? Like obviously Cork and Galway and Limerick and all, but you know, there's so much industry and everything still is so dependent on, like, Dublin, like people commuting up and
big time.
You know, it's like
people saying all this, like, Google coming over here and Amazon is bad, like they're the low corporation tax. I'm like, Dublin has, well, Ireland in general has one of the highest graduate rates of people with computer degrees in the world. yeah, this is great. Like, do you know what I mean?
I think
they're giving a lot of jobs, like, and
Yeah.
they're giving a lot back to the economy. Obviously, low corporation tax is bad, but without low corporation tax, this country wouldn't have developed in the last 40 years. We'd all still be farmers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, trying to get jobs with the state and doing not much. Like,
Yeah.
like, it's not that bad, really. Like, all this money came in, and it's like, you can do whatever you want. Like, do you know what I mean? You want to be a rapper, you want to be like, own a skate brand, or you want to. This is all good. Like, without this, you wouldn't be able to do that. Like, obviously, at the same point, it's like, I'm 25, like, and I live at home. I would like a house, but like, you can't have everything.
Yeah, there's a cost for everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, if you have to work for your dream, then you just have to have a backup. Like, you can't put everything into one thing nowadays, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's just a sad fact. Like,
Yeah,
not everybody gets out. Not everybody gets a dream. It's just brutal, but like,
I like that though. In the book is like, I think it's an interesting way to tackle, obviously, like a lot of issues in one narrative, sort of. So you have like these situations and stuff, and it kind of like illuminates like a truth as opposed to like giving you maybe facts. You know what I mean? It's like the realities of the situations and you're taking, I suppose, the things that jump out to you and the trends that you notice and like kind of converting that into something that when you read it, you're kind of like, you know, it just gives you that sense of like empathy and like, you know, and you
that's
really
what I wanted to bring across rather than just throwing like facts out, because I don't want people to be like, homeless is a number. It's not a number. It's actual people. Do you know what I mean? There's actually people out there who are affected. This is where you like look at like a bit of the doll from last week and like, there's currently 15,000 homeless in Dublin. Do you know any of these people?
Yeah.
Probably not. Like, you just know a number that was told to you by one of your researchers, like, and you're trying to throw it in the face like of someone to show how bad a job they're doing. You're not solving anything. You're not getting out there and knowing anybody who's actually suffering from these things. Like,
Leaving that to the people on the front lines, like.
Yeah, exactly. So like, what's the point of like you saying this number? Like, you're not actually helping anyone. Like, you're just helping your party and yourself, like, in government, which isn't a good thing as well. No, it's not a good thing. I don't think so anyway.
No, definitely not. And I suppose like we were having a conversation earlier a little bit, like I feel like being in government though must be a little bit like, I'm going to steal your analogy, it's like you have a tray of eggs and there's an earthquake happening, so it's like, all right, you might have, like you're talking about, like corporation tax, but the cost is going to be this, and you know what I mean, it's always going to like find somewhere.
Yeah, you're never going to make it. There's no such thing as a perfect government, because like, how can you make something when you're putting 80 people into a room and every one of those people are flawed? Nobody in that room is perfect.
Exactly.
And anyone who's going to go in for government, I was literally saying this to someone I was working with today, and I was like, they are inherently, like, there's nothing wrong with it, but they are inherently narcissistic, because like, if you're going for a position of power, like, there is a bit of it where you want the power and you strive for the power.
If you have your face on a billboard in your area, you feel like you're you know what I mean, I'm the man, I'm going to solve all the world's problems, but like, you're not, like,
it's a weird like cross
it's like, toe, like. But one thing I did notice about your book as well, like, there was a lot of like pearls of wisdom, which I thought was quite cute, like the way like you were but you were talking about like lust and love and like the difference between that and then like existentialism and then like existentialism as well. Like, do you think like the book, even though I know it was all about like 9 different people and like I liked how they intertwined as well, I thought that was quite cool.
Nice.
And do you think like it was kind of personal as well, like the book? Because I had a lot of personal elements. Of, like,
it's hard. But it's hard. Like, you draw like and paint. It's hard not to put yourself into things. Do you know what I mean? Like, otherwise, what are you doing? Like,
so it was so like there's loads of like little nuggets of like little wisdom. Like, I have like the right. Wait, I have like a quote.
You're gonna
do you mind me quote? Is that okay? Like, or do you want me to quote?
I'm just interested in what you picked up on here.
I was like, the right time requires rational thinking, doesn't it? Like, this is a rhetorical question, and like, or does the heart make it?
That
right
one.
Time or wrong time? Time is only constant. The heart determines what feels right and what feels wrong. Where did that come from?
I have no clue. But 5 points of Guinness. That's where that came from.
It was properly nice though. Like,
cheers.
Poetry,
I'm telling you, Guinness is
back of a penguin bar, bro. No, like that's what I mean. Like, you're kind of getting across, like, you know, and merging all these like other threads of like the kind of reasons why people find themselves in those situations as well, and like the complexity of the people on the ground as well have entire lives. The people manage it, you know, at every level will have a life as complex.
There's a lot of people from a lot of social class that were affected by the housing crisis. Like, that's what I just wanted to show. Like, and there's people who did benefit from it. Like, one story is just about like a fella and his only problem is like sex, pretty much. Like, that's literally his only problem in the world. Like, he has a house, he has a family. It just doesn't like his wife anymore, and he wants to have an affair, and he uses the hotel to have an affair.
Yeah,
and that's as big a problem in his head as the two, like, you know, like as someone who was home, like on the streets, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
His problem is literally just personally thing, and his other ones, are just like economic, everything. But like in people's heads, like it's all valuable. Everybody thinks they're the smartest person in the world, pretty much.
Yeah.
Literally,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to like get that bigger picture.
Exactly.
In your head,
especially when you're being like so affected by something. Like, it just takes up all your head space.
It's kind of your own personal experience. So like, I always think about this as well, like with mental health and stuff. Like, you know, when people are like, "Oh, I'm depressed," and then it's all relative to them. So like, your biggest thing that happened to you, like something really bad could happen to someone, something minorly bad compared to them, but like it's all relative to the person.
Exactly.
So it's like, for their story, like with that story, like I know the one, like, you know, I don't want to give away because I want people to buy the book.
Yeah, for sure.
But because it's for charity as well, and like it's all relative to like their experience. So like someone actually losing their home because of just like financial troubles to someone just wanting to like, it's a sex drive, isn't it? Pleasure, like, but like that's that's literally there. So it's quite nice to see that and compare that, like all within a book. With it's just people, kind of.
It is just people, and it's just like the differences honest, in people. The brutal honesty at some points. Like even at the last one, like I tried to do like the last one is just like it's complete satire. The last one, it's just like a. It's just the birth of Christ, pretty much.
It's
just the birth of Christ. Like, and not many people are like this. I was like, I literally just like.
You just went.
I went to the Bible and I modernized the Bible for you, just to show how ridiculous this situation is. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
it's believable though in a weird. I know like the names and stuff. That's kind of satirical, but like that could have actually happened though. Very easily.
There's definitely like two recovered heroin addicts chatting to three people who are currently off their face in town right now, and they're eating crisps, just talking for sure. Like, do you know what I mean? This is like
it'll be us after Local Boy gig.
Go to Local Boy gig.
Pretty about all the rotten fruit.
But it's just like I just thought it would just be funny to like just show how, like, because the Bible is just essentially a load of short stories with moral endings to them, like don't do this, be nice, be this. I was just like, let's just modernize this and show how absolutely absurd like this system is at the minute, and how people are just overcomplicating things, like, because it's really at the base level it's just a joke, like it really is just a joke, like that there's so much money in this country and we're not able to use it for the benefit of people, even in the world in general. You know, that's like a bigger thing. Like Australia's been on fire for 6 months. Although then, like, the certain situations happen as well that always annoy me. Like, people are like giving out to the Kardashians about it, and I'm like, there are people who are a lot more responsible,
like, give them
and
money,
you know what I mean? It's just like, come on, like,
it's like when the whole Notre Dame thing happened, and then what's that, LVHM? They just gave like $1 billion quid to rebuild a cathedral, and I was like, you could have done so much with that. You could have like solved hunger in a lot of African countries, or like giving them electricity or schooling or something. God forbid. Like, oh no, a 300-year-old cathedral was born, let's throw everything at it to never get it rebuilt, because it's never going to be rebuilt the same way. I suppose as well, I just wanted to jump into, when did these issues sort of pique interest to you? Was there like any overly personal reason, or no? I just like sort of just walking around, like, and you just
your environment, like,
you're walking. I spend a lot of time just walking around, and like there's just more people sitting on the streets and like sleeping on the streets, and I was like, all right, this is like getting bad. And then it just became like a proper epidemic. Do you know what I mean? I'd go to work at 6 a.m. and I just see that's when you I just see tents in the middle of the street, or people sleeping on their shop fronts. And I mean, it's not only in town as well. It's not. It's everywhere. Like the canal, just like 10 cities. Like I remember I'd go to work and I'd like see like people sleeping on the shop fronts, and the guards come along at like 6 in the morning and just kick them off, like because that place is open for business. But you're also like, all right, that place, they need to open for business, but like you're just like you're treating this person like they're nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like what's
like
that
you're
person?
A piece of rubbish that
Yeah,
needs to
exactly.
be taken up. So
what's
we
that
can
person
just
going to
go
achieve with
work,
their
do you
day?
know what I mean?
Then they've been woken up in the worst possible way, and
By a
literally
guard.
by the guard saying, "Get up, like go do something with your day."
Yeah. I mean,
What's
even if
it-
they
yeah,
were
like
able to
what
get
can
a
they
sleep,
do? Like they can't. Those people can't collect dole because they don't have an address. So where do they get their money? By begging. People frown down on people who beg, like, and they just walk past them like they've done something wrong. But like that person would gladly, a lot of them would gladly go get like the scratcher if they had money, and they might put it towards like fixing themselves up, trying to get a job. But like the system is just set in a way where they just can't ever get out of the rut. Once you fall into a rut, it just goes back on itself.
Yeah.
I know this is like a very weighted question to just ask one person, but like, what would you think if you could change something about the system now? Like, what to make that easier? What would you do? Do you think? Yeah.
How do you solve
how
a
do you
homelessness
solve?
epidemic in a few words?
Yeah.
I mean, apparently, I haven't looked into it at all, but like Finland, I think eliminated like, a lot of theirs. So I'm sure there's people smarter than us, hopefully.
100%. Stop building like these like huge 50, 60 grand houses that cost like big contractors. You can build like little pod houses in some place, like just
I mean, the state were building houses in like the 60s and stuff. That's
like people don't need a lot. Like just give them a bed and some running water and like a shelter. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like do you ever see those shipping container houses?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Let's
man,
just build a load of them. Like
I know, yeah, because I think Anthony Flynn was kind of campaigning for there to be some sort of centre. I think to be made where at least they could be, accommodated and hopefully, like, just
Do
place to
something.
stay, get clean, have somewhere like
exactly.
give them that address
Just
as
give
well.
them something like to help them get out. Obviously, you don't expect them to stay there indefinitely.
Yeah.
But like, just give them something where they can call themselves like a functioning member of society for a while.
Yeah.
That's all you ask, pretty much,
It's
isn't
just
it?
to give someone back their dignity, because it's probably
Exactly, that's
very,
what you
like,
lose first, like-
it's like depersonalization when you're literally on the street. Like, imagine just being ignored by probably 100 people walk past you in like less than 10 minutes. Like,
That's why I always at least
yeah.
try and like acknowledge, if I can. Like,
yeah, just
But like it's awful. Like sometimes like you literally pass one and there's another one right there, and you're
And then
just
you're
like,
you can't keep saying it because then like,
do you know what I mean?
is that better? Like, just keep going. No.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's just there's no winning it. Like,
Yeah, like there's just no end in it. It's just like it's almost you just become desensitized, desensitized to the person.
like you
It's just a
have
bit
like
sad.
we have though, because we walk around the street. Like I walked past, like when I was like coming here today, like I've walked past so many, like, and I'm like
sure.
people, and they're just people at the same time. It's so like
I guess to dive into what you came for here, is there anyone maybe that you think are you optimistic about anyone that might be able to turn those sorts of issues around for you personally? Or
I've been thinking about it a lot. Like, obviously, a lot of people are going to go Sinn Féin on this matter, which I like. They do have a lot of policies which are good, but are they realistic? I'm not sure. I don't know how they're going to build the biggest social housing project in the state's history on a 6.5 million budget. Like, what contractor is going to agree to that?
Yeah.
I mean, we're already running over like in the billions for a hospital. Like, there's people out there who are benefiting off building a hospital.
Children's Hospital.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do you know what I mean? There's people out there who are that low, like, are that interested in like economic gain, and then the people who are even building the hospital, they're like, "Why? I'm in no rush to finish this because then I'm going to be unemployed when this is finished."
Yeah.
So like, there's no benefit for the individual who's working on the site to finish what they're doing because then they're unemployed. So like, how do you do that with a huge housing project?
And
on
that
a
sort of
really low
mentality
budget?
as well, I feel, translate even into the DAWs. So it's like you have TDs and it's like their main goal is to be re-elected, and
I think it's a good stepping stone for Sinn Féin. I don't know if they'll get in. I hope they get a lot of seats because it's a nice
I'd
voice
say they
to
will,
have.
to be fair.
I really hope they do, and I hope the Greens get a lot of seats. I still can't look past Micheál Martin becoming Taoiseach, which I'm not a fan of because he failed so bad last time, and I don't think Fine Gael are going to get anywhere near it. But I'd just like to see people in there who actually want to make a difference.
Yeah, it seems like there's a real sort of buzz around this election in particular, and
Yeah,
I wonder if it's
definitely.
because I was saying to Oren earlier, we're sandwiched between, we have Trump Like, and obviously Ireland doesn't tend to kind of swing radically like left and right like the US.
This is the first time that could happen.
That's true. But then even like obviously we have across the Irish Sea, then you
you have good L. Johnson,
Brexit and everything. You know what I mean? So we're sandwiched in between, kind of probably being like, oh, we need change too. You know what I mean?
And like back to social media, like literally like the way we're like constantly berated by like fucking memes of Trump or whatever, do you know, like we constantly see it, and like constantly Brexit, like information about that, regardless of if it's like really right wing or really left wing, but like it's kind of just like we need to change our system too. I think it's kind of inspiring. I think there is a bit on social media, to be fair to it, has definitely made me a bit more like inclined to like look into politics more.
Yeah, it's
and I
deadly.
feel
for sure.
People are interested in politics, so that's great. Like, do you know what I mean? That was the one demographic that was just like, oh, it's not for me, like it's not going to affect me. And then you had all the older people who are just like generationally Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael. That's why it always happened that way. Like my dad voted Fianna Fáil, my dad voted Fine Gael,
and I think there's like just I suppose an appetite now more than ever for just like big ideas and just like you know, other than just
proper change,
short term like you know, the same sort of stuff over and over again.
Like France have had to introducing, like one of the first countries introduced like a digital minister, and his job is literally just to look at the internet and how we can use it for the advantage of the state. Ireland isn't doing anything like that. Like they're just literally just looking at like normal issues, like, but like they're looking at like how you can tax corporations in other ways, like than just like income tax or like profit tax, and that's cool. Like, do you know what I mean? Because you can do a lot with that. There's so much money on the internet. It's like the Wild West at the minute.
I know.
It's only like
and that's actually something
years old,
earlier when we were saying, like, imagine the sense of kind of like possible utopia that must have felt like in the early 90s and stuff, because I feel like there was a sense of that in like early YouTube, even like before it was Google and like before like 4 companies owned the internet essentially. Pretty much. You know what I mean? Like it felt like, oh shit, I can kind of do anything. Yeah, you can do whatever you
want, like,
you know what I mean? It's crazy,
which is great as well, like, but like you just have to do something, like throw some kind of regulation or try get something back for the people from it, because like nowadays it's like walking the streets with a dead phone is an escape from the internet.
Me, like, no,
you
you
were living blissfully for a while.
I was in the utopia myself. Like, but then also my reliance on my phone. I was just like, I have idea how to contact any of you. Like, I am lost now. Like, literally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's terrifying as well.
So where was that time where it was like the internet was the escape to where getting off your phone is the escape?
Yeah.
I don't know when that happened, like, but it was definitely like in the last 10 years where...
for sure. In 2007, what's it, January 9th, iPhone? Like,
killed it.
I mean, it's so crazy that, like, even, like, you know, Steve Jobs, like, I find, like, companies like that, they're just insanely influential. Like,
huge.
You know what I mean? It's just, like...
They ever see their complexes? It's like a bleeding military base.
Yeah, I think that apparently I was listening to, there was a podcast and someone was on the board of directors of Apple when Steve Jobs was chairman or whatever. And he was saying, like, that was one of the things, like, because they were interested in figuring out, was there anything that he was sort of forecasting his legacy on, you know, in the last couple of days and stuff. Last couple of days, but, like, towards the end, obviously. Yeah. And apparently that whole campus, though, that was his thing? That was his thing, yeah. It's just establish the culture there and then have that live on in that space, like.
Turtlenecks forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Forever live on.
I always think that's cool that he made that look.
I know, right?
The New Balance 9.
Apparently that was another thing. It was like a minimalism thing. He just wore the same thing every day. The New Balances.
It's like supposedly a psychological thing where like you eliminate the wake up, what do I wear? That you just like your head is constantly focused and clear. Yeah.
He the thing in the office they were saying was reduce everything like 3 times or simplify everything 3 times. So it's like you have something, simplify it again, and then it's Apple.
That's the product.
Yeah.
That's actually quite nice.
And I think you can apply that to
lifestyle.
Yeah, that's the sort of stuff that's all like. Apparently, it's like there's a whole course that's like taught to like in there and stuff. It's like crazy.
Of course, they made it
super
some
weird.
monetary gain from it.
Exactly.
Like,
it's nuts. Like,
that was $1 billion idea, though.
Yeah.
More like everyone in the like. Where like the iPhone is just everywhere.
Everywhere. It's mad how it's just gone to like 2 companies just fighting for this information thing. Like it's like mad, isn't it? Because
it's like that question of like when does it become even like a monopoly? You know what I mean?
If it's not already happened, they Google have a monopoly. They're gonna have to get brought to the court or something for it. Yeah, it's like remember. Did you ever hear those like in the 30s? Like man, John D. Rockefeller, he owned like like 30% of the US economy himself. Like he was in control of 30% just from oil, just from selling oil. He somehow went from like owning a small like oil rig to owning 30% of the US economy, and they actually had to bring him to the court and were like, you are too powerful. You are literally more powerful than we are. You have that much money. It's just mental.
Yeah, it is.
It's getting to that stage of like Google and stuff now, because they're just buying out everybody who's competition.
Yeah,
just throwing money at them.
Yeah, exactly.
What's $6 billion in the long term if we buy this like up and coming, video stream?
Yeah, exactly. Like, every messenger app that ever gets invented.
Yeah, exactly.
But even like Facebook, like buying Instagram and stuff, and the way like you can see your Instagram incorporates every single app now because it has a messaging feature. It's copied Snapchat's story feature because Snapchat wouldn't buy it. Well, wouldn't sell whatever.
That's what happened, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't sell to them, so they just like kill their market.
Yeah. Like who uses Snapchat stories? Nobody. Like literally, they just incorporated and took it all because they have so many resources and so many people to like look into it and know what's cool and whatever.
Pretty much. You know like you're not going to sell to us. We're just going to like make it what you do better.
Yeah.
And then nobody's going to use your thing and now you're worthless.
Like the amount of money they put, like all the weird effects on like Instagram now and all that stuff, like they just copied. It's just all copied.
I kind of like the filter stuff. I think
lads, cool. Like I enjoy that.
And then the fact that they kind of like open sourced it and it's like, you know, on Instagram and stuff,
you can make, that's cool. Really cool that people can make those as well. Yeah, it is.
One thing I was watching a video a while ago on the inventor of Bitcoin. And it really like sparked an interest in me because I was like, this dude who like invented it would probably be sitting on like hundreds of millions of Bitcoin, which is worth exponentially more in dollars. So like, how powerful is he if he was to come forward? Because there's been no public correspondence from him since like 2012. So either he's smart enough to realize some government is probably going to take him out or something, or he's actually dead already. Like,
probably, you know or locked up somewhere.
Yeah, like you don't crazy. Like,
I wonder what's happened to him.
We're living in strange times. I feel like I'm gonna have to start getting the tinfoil hat. Like,
no conspiracies. You might
have to take off
weird videos there.
See, no, well, I did for a little while, and then I was like, I mean, I have Google Home in my room, like I said, you know what I mean? It's just like, if they don't see me, it's like they're here, and like, you know.
Alexa, do I put tape on my webcam?
Yeah, exactly.
What do I do?
Don't do that.
Tape ordered on Amazon.com.
You get cookies dead for tape.
Yeah, constantly. This tape is the best.
Goddamn.
Like.
Yeah, I suppose, is there anything, do you have any questions, Evelyn, that you didn't get to?
Yeah, I'll have a look. But like, so would you recommend Sinn Féin then?
I wouldn't recommend anyone. Yeah, vote for whoever you feel represents your ideas. Like, don't listen to people and that kind of stuff. Like, cause,
I mean, I know again, this is kind of coming back to like the whole big ideas thing, but I think it's almost like you need a reform of like the way we do things. You know what I mean? The way like, I mean, like I think it was on Una Mullally podcast. They were saying like TDs should only be able to serve like 2 terms and stuff. So at least when they get in, it's they kind of know, right? Well, I'll get my stuff done and it's not going to go past the. But I know obviously that's detrimental to their careers, but
hold a legacy as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, actually,
how many people are in the Dáil purely for a career thing, like career politicians?
You know what I mean? And that's not doing anything for society. You know?
No,
what I mean?
It's not like. And how many young TDs is there in there? People who like you relate to, or I relate to, or like who know anything about modern problems, like. Not many, do you know what I mean? That's a problem as well. Like you have to. It's like I think it's just one of those. Like it's just going to generationally just change, and I think it's going to happen soon. I don't think it's going to happen this election. Maybe another 4 years. But
yeah.
It's definitely like Ireland is going left because it's just outrageous at the minute. Like what's happening?
It definitely is. Yeah,
it's just really. It's just bad. Like it's just not enjoyable living here a lot of the time.
Yeah,
it's like really bad on your mental health actually.
And I wonder if it's like we kind of have this sort of like. You know, like I was saying, it doesn't seem to go radically one way or the other or anything. So we're kind of just trotting along, and there's just an overall sense of like cynicism about whatever the government is. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, there is a lot of cynicism around what like. But then people are like, Fine Gael were so bad. Fine Gael were so bad. They weren't like.
They weren't.
They done a lot. They done a lot of good. Like Ireland's GDP, like. Grew huge.
We have full employment technically as well.
The repeal, like
that went through. But I also think though, like with stuff like that, like say like a lot of like they just like slowly throw out like these little cultural changes that like get a bit of popular opinion back in their favor, and then like they just keep rushing through with low corporate tax, globalization, rents are going up, and everybody's just like focusing on this like thing that should have already happened.
Yeah, exactly.
ages ago.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
maybe like you
Legalize it.
Yeah, pretty much. I think maybe Ireland could benefit from a whole new constitution more than anything. Like where our constitution was written in hand with the Catholic Church, and we're just undoing the changes of the Catholic
Slowly.
Church. Slowly. Like we live in a
Please
proper multicultural
Yeah.
country now. Like there's a lot of different religions, there's a lot of different like people of different nationalities here, and our constitution was geared around like
Yeah.
Catholicism.
Yeah.
That was it. Like so I mean, 4 years after our constitution was written, we had the Eucharistic Congress here, and this was like the biggest thing in the like Ireland had ever seen at this point. I didn't give a shit when the Pope came.
Oh, I gave
give a
no.
shit.
Did anyone care?
I didn't.
But I
give
mean,
a
as a
shit.
state, you know,
But that
like,
cost a fortune to have him here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
big
I'm
time.
like, what was the point in this? Like, you could have spent that money on so much more. Like, so much more. Nobody cared. Like, did you see how many people turned out to it? Not many at all. Like, more people travelled over from other countries to it than actual Irish people, I'd say, attended.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like religion is bad or anything.
No,
like, religion is
but-
good. Like, it helps a lot of people's lives and stuff. But you shouldn't have your whole country's political system wrapped around an ideology, especially a religious ideology.
Yeah.
It's just not good for anybody involved, I don't think.
It doesn't represent like a whole
No, it
group
doesn't.
of people.
When was the
at
last
all,
time you went to church?
Literally have no idea. I didn't even go at Christmas this year.
Yeah, it's a Christmas thing, like show me face kind of thing.
Yeah, not even. I didn't even go with Christmas.
So maybe that's a good step. Like completely. Like, do you own a copy of the Constitution?
No.
You can buy it for like €2.
Yeah.
Look at it. It's mental. Some of the stuff in it, like some of the stuff is proper mental.
What is
even
the
just
most outrageous
thinking-
things in it?
One of them is like the woman is the center of the home. That's actually that's an actual article in our constitution.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like that's what it
What's
says.
that
like,
even mean though? Like,
How crazy is that when you conceptualize that's like 1922? Do you know what I mean? It's only like 100 years.
it's just like a bit weird, isn't it?
bit weird, yeah.
Crazy, isn't
But
it?
like you apply that then into like modern divorce, like do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the minute a man divorces his wife, or a woman divorces the husband, the woman is more inclined to get things because in the view of this country she's the centre of the home, even if she was bad.
Wait, did they actually base that decision on?
No, but that all comes into play.
Oh my
Like this all
God.
comes into play because this is written. This is a legal.
Documentation.
Yeah, this is a legal document. Do you know what I mean? Like this is Irish like rights. Like this is morals. Like that women are at the centre of the home.
Yeah.
Like which is bad from a feminist point of view, and then it's also bad from an equality point of view.
Yeah, I would like to be the centre of any. Not just
It's
a
just
home.
like it just makes no sense. Like
yeah, no, it's. I didn't even know that was written in the Constitution.
I'm telling you, go into like a bookshop and just buy one. They're like €2.50, €3.
Yeah,
Just have a look through it.
Yeah.
It's just interesting looking at like what this country's opinion was 8 years ago versus what it is now, because the whole thing is just wrapped in Catholicism and it's mental. It's proper mental, like some of the stuff that's in it, and you're just like, this is fucking like what was De Valera smoking?
Yeah.
Honestly, nothing, just a load of communion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Of that communion wine. Yeah.
I just don't really understand it. I don't think Ireland is the same as it was, like, but it's very hard to like look at America, for example. They're
Very new as well.
fuck, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
They have a 300-year-old thing that says it's all right to own guns.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, like, yeah, it was all right back then because, like, you'd have big plantations and Native Americans were trying to come back their land. Obviously, you wanted to bleed and shoot them.
Oh,
now you have, like, a school shooting every week in America, and there's still, like, rights to guns, like, freedom, do you know what I mean? But, like, what, like...
Yeah,
you're-
that's when I'm just like, you have to be happy, like, that there's, like, guys don't really have guns.
Yeah,
like,
like,
that is really nice
Ireland's
to
actually
know
a
that.
really nice place to live in. It's just, like, it can be improved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just
Always.
looked at, like, our basic legal, like, documents and just seeing, like, that's wrong, let's fight to change these things, rather than looking at, like, these big, huge issues that could take 20, 30 years to solve, like homeless problems.
Yeah.
If you just try to solve these things, then a lot of other problems will disappear and a lot of people will just be happier.
I think in the book, what's it? Sometimes the question is complicated, but the answer is
Yeah,
simple.
exactly.
In the dome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that.
It's just like, I think
That's life.
you could, yeah, you can just really, like, yeah, like you have
You're
like,
like Steve Jobs. Simple. You
in a way, yeah.
It all comes back to it.
I suppose in a way,
Yeah.
it does come back to it.
It's all Steve Jobs.
Buy Apple.
Yeah. By the way, the podcast
Yeah,
is sponsored
exactly.
by Apple.
On iTunes. Yeah, do you have any like wrap up things to look out for?
Not really.
There's a
Like
bunch
in
of stuff.
Yeah, what's your next plans, like artistically? Is there
I'm
anything planned?
starting to write a play that's like a satirical look at the Irish healthcare system.
Man, I was in A&E only like
Yeah, it's
2
mental,
months ago.
isn't it?
Oh,
It's mental.
That is a different universe.
Yeah, it's mental, and I just want to look at that like how just like stupid.
What happened?
Well, I'll tell you off air.
Go for it,
yeah.
Go for it. No, go for it. Like,
No,
how long were you waiting?
honestly.
How long were you waiting there?
Like about 15 hours.
And what did they say
Whoa.
at the end of the 15 hours? Go sit in another room.
Well,
Here's a bed for you. We'll see. you in a
there was
few
someone
hours.
else with me that needed to care more so than me, but
Yeah.
it was just, yeah,
That's what it
15
is.
hours,
Like, it's just like, and it's not a problem with the people who work there.
Yeah.
It's just there's not enough resources to deal with it. Like, and one big hospital in the middle of the city isn't going to solve it. You got to build 3 hospitals around the city, and I did like one
Yeah.
up north, one out west, one down south,
Yeah.
and it would have solved the problem.
But I'll tell you what it was. It was a broken wrist, like. So it's 15 hours just to have a scan and just tell you, first of all, whether the thing is actually broken or not.
Yeah.
And then
Sit
to
here
actually
then.
just get a cast. 15 hours.
Mental, isn't it? Like,
Stunning.
it's so hard on your
Pay
head.
us 100
then.
quid for that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, obviously pays.
It's just like, I just want to really look at how absolutely absurd it is. Like, they're just waiting. It's just a waiting game.
Yeah.
For what? Like, you
Big
go
time.
crazy sitting in there.
Yeah, big time.
And then you're like, I'm nearly up the front, and then an ambulance like comes up,
Yeah,
and some fella like
Yeah.
blood everywhere goes in. You're like,
Like
you're
that for
you
you.
fucking prick. Like, what did he do? What's wrong with him? That's not more wrong than me. Like, give him a towel. That'll solve it. Like, if I could lift my hand, I'd give you a fucking finger right now. But I can't.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, no, like, yeah.
So that's your play.
Yeah, that's a play.
That was it. I just live done it. It was an improv play.
So your next plan is the play and that.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I hopefully want to try produce it then, maybe try get a bit of funding and then direct it. Yeah, so that's
Cool
hopefully.
though, yeah.
If that comes to fruition, but I'm gonna definitely have it written now by the end of the year, and then after that, I'm hoping to do a master's this September.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's the plan. Like,
Yeah.
just try keep creative buzz going, and then in some way get a job that pays me to do that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Story of our
Forever
lives.
struggle,
isn't it?
Story of our lives.
That's me every day.
I think if we're to end it anyway, that's it. Like that's everyone would be like, yep. That's
Yeah,
it.
that,
No, Adam, thanks so much for coming on.
thanks for having me.
Tell them where to find the book and everything
There's
like
a
that.
few copies left in Library Project, and if you don't want to have to copy and just read things on your laptop nowadays, just get in contact with me and I'll send you a PDF of it, and then it's up to you if you want to donate to charity or not.
Yeah, Library Projects in Temple Bar
and
as well.
what's
so-
the, what's the
September.
charity it goes to as well?
ICHH and Simon Community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Savage.
Savage.
Yeah, we're doing a gig on March 16th in the Sugar Club
Savage.
for ICHH as well. So,
Steady.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
they need, like, they're amazing.
More
like,
support, keep supporting like local charities, and also like we were talking about like local artists and stuff. Support local artists and stuff as well.
yeah, big time.
Do you know what I mean? Like, cause like say like for example, like people think they're doing well, like these gigs that we're going to see local by later on, like
Yeah.
it means a lot for them to sell out, like, and that's like helps
Yeah.
him boost like to get the equipment to make the next thing,
For
or like
sure.
subset them putting stuff on walls,
Yeah.
like you know, like buy like it's not much like buying a print or something, or like going down to one of their nights and just talking to them and like get money into it, like, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
keep pumping money into this kind of stuff, because like people are out there trying to help you by commenting on things like in the best way that they can. So just give a small amount of your money or your time. Just
Yeah,
show that you appreciate
exactly.
it,
Yeah.
rather than just
Because
like,
it will encourage someone even more. Like, you don't even know, like, the
Exactly.
influence you'd have. Like, if you see, like, you're like, oh, they're doing that, so, like, that means I could do it too. Like, it's actually, you're secretly inspiring someone who's just staring at a screen in their bed.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you're like, oh my God, if they can do it, I could probably do it too.
yeah,
So,
100%. Just
Yeah.
like be sound.
Be safe.
And on that note,
On
just
that
end
note,
it.
yeah.
Savage lads.
Cheers.
Yeah, honestly, we'll do it. We'll do it.
Oh,
Get a
do it.
little glass
Oh,
drink
yes.
in there.
Yo, Tito, drop that shit.